So I've just been to Sainsbury's and I forgot to pick up the ginger. So this is Thai inspired minus the ginger, but we have got red chilli and we have got lime. So there should be 3 flavours there: red chilli, lime, ginger. Obviously I've roasted off the salmon already, just so it's ready. It's cooled down a little bit. I've got about 280 grams of broccoli and cauliflower to use. I'm sort of just going to match it with, yeah, so it's going to be probably actually all 3 of these fillets. Essentially I'm going to do these as a meal for 2, so it's 1.5 salmon fillets per person. I want to make this into quite a smooth mash. Obviously because we've got broccoli, it's going to be a little bit of a different colour than if we were just using all cauliflower. Just going to give this a quick pulse by itself first, then we're going to add the liquids to that really. But I think I'll keep the chilli in small pieces. So that's going to go in with the salmon. I'm going to just take some of the stalks out and whack them into, this is fresh coriander. I'm not going to pulse the leaves. I'll just turn it into a green paste. I'm going to chop the leaves. So I'll put that there. The fresh coriander and the chopped chilli are going in with the salmon. Obviously this will work with any fish, really. You know, if you don't like salmon, you know, you can use white fish. And guess what? You won't even taste it. Okay, so zest of 1 lime, the juice of 1 lime. Juice I'm going to put in with the mash. It's about a tablespoon, and I'm going to do exactly the same for the liquid aminos, about a tablespoon. I won't go overboard because you're not a massive fan of this, are you? But it gives it that sort of slightly salty. So it's 10 mils. There you go. So it's just a nice smooth mash now. I am going to get my hands in there in a second and mash it all up, but I'm just going to chop up the spring onions first, and then we'll add a little bit of Panda Flour just to help thicken it. Do a couple of spring onions. So with the spring onion, chop the whites, but save the greens for the dressing, as it were, to sort of like finish the dish. I've used about 3 spring onions there, about half of each. The other half I'm going to use as a little bit of dressing. Right, okay, time to get hands in. Give it a good old squish. Don't know if you can hear that. Can you hear the squishing? No? Okay, so it's quite wet, because obviously that was the lime and the obviously the water out of the veggies, so it is quite wet. You want to try and bind that a little bit more, because that's not going to stick, so that's where the Panda comes in to help it bind together. So you have to sort of go off feel for this really, to make sure that you've got, it'll be about 20-30 grams, but depends on how much moisture you ended up putting in. That's only 15 there, so I'm gonna, there you go, that's 22. I'll start with that and we'll see how it feels. It's just got to start holding together a bit more when you squish it together. Obviously I've not added any salt because of the liquid aminos. Needs a little bit more. It's still a little bit squishy. It's coming together, just a little bit too squishy. Obviously by doing this I've broken down the salmon as well, so it's in sort of small flakes now. That's much better. You can sort of see it's holding together now. It's much firmer than it was. So that's just 30 grams. So I mean essentially 10 grams per 100 grams of cauliflower and per 100 grams of salmon. It's much firmer and I can make something from this now. I will do these as small ones rather than as giant fish cakes, and they only need a little bit of hand moulding. I say, I've got lard here. It probably started off as 2 packs, it's not quite that now. They'll just sit in the oil, they're not going to get covered over with it. Obviously everything we've put together here now is fully cooked. So all we're really trying to do is get some nice colouring on them. Okay, so, oh, look at the colour on there. It's probably orange on your camera, on your screen. Don't need to do much to them, because, you know, they will break up if you're too rough with them. All you got to do is give them a little rotate.